represent those of the owners, management, staff, advertisers, or sponsors of this radio station. It is not our intent to make any defamatory statements or infringe upon the rights of any human being. Any such communication is contrary to our core values and belief as hosts of Heartbeat. I got news for you. You gotta dance like nobody's watching, love like you've never been heard, sing like nobody's listening, and live like it's heaven on earth. Good morning, world. I'm Dr. J.L. GODBOLT.
I'm Dr. Ron GODBOLT.
And I'm Tony Billingslea.
This is Heartbeat Flight 2026 on Wake Up, where we still believe the truth is the truth. If no one believes it, and a lie is still a lie, even if everyone believes it. Great day in the village. I got to tell you what Dr. Eric Mansfield said today on his morning tea. He said, if it's too safe, it's too small. I'm going to use that today. Yes, sir. Welcome to all of our friends following us everywhere, wherever you might be. WEWO, Laurinburg, North Carolina. WAGR, Lumberton, North Carolina. WYDU, Red Springs, North Carolina. And right here in the God bless city of Fayetteville. I used to know who said that. It won't come to me now. But anyway, there's a preacher who used to say that. Glad to have you on board with us. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday to those and all of us who are celebrating Dr. King this weekend. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This weekend is going to be a lot of great things happening. So stay tuned, stay with us, listen to some of the nice pieces of work that they're sharing with us, episodes and sermons as well. And then if you're celebrating a birthday, please hurry up and let us know. Captain Billingslea has been saving this birthday song for about 3 years now. Hadn't got a chance to sing to anybody yet. And anniversary as well. Those of you who got married during this special winter time, we appreciate you as well. Happy anniversary to you. And if you gave your heart to Christ and this is your celebration, hey, we want to hear from you as well. This is called your happy birthday yes. In Christ. Mm-hmm. Grief Share.
Yeah, Grief Share. We're in a new session started this week on Wednesdays at 10 to 11:30 at One Church Covenant Fellowship, 918 Person Street. So you're invited. Come drop in, see what's going on if you're not for sure. If that's something for you, but if you feel like you need it, just come and give it a chance to work for you. You can call the church if you have questions, 910-323-8889, and they'll be glad to hit that transfer, and you can talk to Angela Caraway Williams, and she'll return your call, give you all the information you want.
It's good to be a part of that Grief Share. I'm learning as I've gone through it a couple times just as a person who was grieving and did not know it, but now I'm going through it as a pastor who can help other people
yes.
when they're grieving. Things that you probably thought was okay to say, that you're finding out that doesn't help now.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that in. So you may not be going through a grieving process, but you might want to get your Grief Share team at your church ready to help people understand going through the process of grief.
Yeah, I also found that it helped me in other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Other than just dealing with the death process.
This is good. Hey, today we got several topics. We got to roll like nobody has ever rolled before in this shortest hour of the day between 11 a.m. and 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Fridays. It is the quickest hour as far as I'm concerned. And I want to thank Bishop Carl E. Brinkley Jr. for pushing the buttons and making things sound so smooth here at WIDU. 3 topics today. We're going to talk first about the recruiting process of Homeland Security for ICE agents, what that looked like. And also, there's some things we need to be aware of. I always say you're next. This is kind of a you're next day, if you will. We're looking at the fight to preserve the Gullah Geechee land in the Hilton Head Island as well. There's some things that we say, well, why do we need to know about that? Well, I'll tell you why when you look at where we headed in our own areas as well. And then finally, we'd like to give our tips on preparing for this tax season so you can get yourself ready It's coming, it's here, it's on us, and you may need to be aware of some things that you're not aware of, okay? Plus, we got Harvey Johnson. He's already on the line. He's preparing for us to share with us Car Talk. I know Glenda's happy about that. She said, he got that list. Does he still have that same list we gave him last time? But anyway, we'll get some good things from him. We got a health tip and a Did You Know? All of that in less than 35 and a half minutes. No, just kidding. Whatever time we have, we're going to get it done. Homeland Security. Guys, I got to tell you, when I looked at this ICE situation, I had a conversation with someone else this morning as well, I was appalled at what you can't even call this a process, but nonetheless, let's look at this. And I went through some places. I about almost hit the button to join. It's called join.ice.gov to see exactly what the process is. I wanted to make sure we did it together. But following the social media images of using an Uncle Sam, we know that was the one that we used back during the days of war, that to say, your country needs you, sign up, that sort of thing. And that we're using that same image now for something a little more one-sided. So.
And the other scary thing about it is that people are joining. The manpower increased 120%.
Yeah, that's a lot, and how quickly. Like I told you, now but the thing that interested me about it was I'm just watching my YouTube preachers and moving on, and they like to throw in advertisement. And then I saw this ICE, DHS, ICE advertisement for application with a $50,000 signing bonus. I said, did I see that right?
Yes.
So I had to wait again to make sure that they're now advertising on social media to give you a $50,000 bonus. Now, not only that, but the agency, how they are putting out these pictures is what's important to me as well. So, Captain, you go ahead and start us off on that, and I'll follow suit.
You know, it's amazing. The president, in order to keep his campaign promise of deporting at least 3,000 illegal immigrants per day, has tried to increase the capacity of the Immigration Customs and Enforcement Agency. And so their vetting process has suffered somewhat. It's a lengthy process. You have to do you have to have background checks for security purposes, to see if you have any criminal background. All those kinds of things come into play. There's written aptitude tests. The process normally would take anywhere from 6 months to a year,
of course,
for you to be vetted and then enter the training to be Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. Well, that's somewhat changed. Right now, from what I'm seeing in the media, there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in Minneapolis, Minnesota alone. So what does the rest of the force look like throughout America?
Yeah. Of course, one of the things that got my attention was the images, again, the images of advertising, using Uncle Sam hammering a sign up with a caption, help our country and help our country and yourself, report all foreign invaders. Another post saying, today our efforts are coming out of the White House. So we are seeing now that they're feeling the comfort zone of saying, now we got backing. We got the backing that we want. We want to keep America. I don't know. I won't go through that point. Anyway, the point was post graphics ranging from nationalist to anti-Semitic images, dog whistles about supposing loss of white American cultures in an attempt to recruit people to ICE. So when you start putting all that together, we start to see this anti-Semitism, and as well as anything that is not white, non-white, is becoming the way to grab people or to ask them to join. Terminology, phrases like invasions, cultural decline, homeland, and law and order. These terms are being used on a regular basis to bring more people in. And of course, the concept here is bringing in more white agents and people who are pro-white, I'll put it that way, pro-white, and I won't say anti-anything else, but so pro-white that they are not even considering the fact that sometimes Americans are being brought in because these folk are brought in because they are people who are criminals themselves. And that was one of the things that I was looking at, that the former head of Proud Boys has now been one of those that's been identified as an agent. In ICE. Okay. And that's why we see Jamie Ranskin was asking for them to bring out these names. We want to know who are these agents, what is not just the vetting process, but how in the world did you get so many people so fast? When for me to even get the right kind of ID to get on the plane takes I don't know how long, and to get a passport, get my passport renewed, let alone getting one for the first time. But yet you can put this many agents in place so fast that is concerning me. And like you said, 3,000 in one area in Minnesota. Come on, really?
Yeah, and then the normal training of an ICE agent, once they have been vetted through this process at the National Law Enforcement Center, would have normally been 13 to 18 weeks.
Right.
That's been reduced to 6 weeks.
So how do you do that? How do you reduce and still make it a thorough vetting process? That would be the question.
You don't. When it comes to law enforcement, I worked for one of the largest security firms in America at one time and worked somewhat with law enforcement. 6 weeks of training is just cursory. There's not a lot of information you can impart and get in that amount of time, especially when it comes to law enforcement and dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. So that in itself creates an issue for these agents when they have to go out and try to enforce these immigration and custom laws.
Well, that's one of the pieces that concern me. The training for law enforcement versus the training for an ICE agent. I know there's a difference, has to be, because when you start looking at law enforcement, there is a protection of the general public that is a major piece for them. How to meet people, how to discuss things, how to make sure that you understand what is happening on both sides. But with these agents, it's almost like when I see someone that is not white, I can all of a sudden go up to them, search and do things that could escalate it without having training to understand how to de-escalate a situation.
And this is, and the money for a person to make this kind of money, and you don't even have to have a college diploma. I mean, you don't have to be, you have to be a minimum high school graduate, but the money that they can make is when you look at other jobs that don't even come near that, and they have more training.
Well, the signing bonus alone is more than some people make coming out of college in the first couple of years. Just a signing bonus.
Absolutely, just a signing bonus. More than most people's salary per year, $50,000 for just saying I want to be an agent.
And I think they start off with $60,000 a year.
And of course, giving someone a weapon and then covering their face, when people are not truly identified. We learned this whole process when you are working in a store and someone comes in the door and you want to look at them and say, hi, see, man, like those shoes. You're letting them know I see you, But when someone can come up and they're covered up in a mask and you don't know who they are, and yet they start to make demands of you, that person feels empowered to do things they would not normally do if they had to show their faces.
That I don't understand is them not being identifiable. In other words, as you said, having their faces covered when they're in the process of executing their duties. That sounds like something Gestapo tactics back in 1930s Germany. I just don't understand it. Every infraction of the law does not require for a person to be arrested or even detained. Sometimes a law enforcement officer, sir, you were going 10 miles over the speed limit. Could you please just kind of slow down and be safe? I'm going to give you a warning and send you on your way.
Sure, yeah. And that's part of the process here when you understand law enforcement, public servant, it blows my mind. And I get the Gestapo mentality and the Hitler playbook, but I want to bring you back to something closer. I think it's Ku Klux Klan mentality that we've seen in America from the very beginning. This is something they've always been able to do with anybody who's different. Let me give you one right quick. It was Ronald Reagan that decided that we need to do something about gun control after the Panthers had decided how to make sure their neighborhoods were safe. They used those guns to make sure people were safe, order, and in their own areas. Now we're seeing that this thing is twisted enough that because we can do it without them covering us, now it becomes an issue that now we need some more control. Anytime that we will see in America where countries, anybody, any race of people, any group of people became self-sufficient, that became an issue with the powers that be. So even now, with this twisting that I'm looking at, and I won't be able to stay with this long because we got so many other topics. But like you were talking here, if we look at all of the ways that's happening, the chaos that's around us, why do we have so much going on at one time? Is that to keep us from really focusing on the real issues?
On the real issues.
Yeah.
You know, I lived in Oakland, California for a while where the Black Panther Party still had a large community presence. They did a lot of great things in the community. And I can tell you that when they armed themselves in California during that Reagan administration as governor, they followed the laws of the state of California.
Exactly.
They made sure they followed the laws so they weren't doing anything illegal as far as weaponizing themselves and carrying guns. Well, Mr. Reagan decided he was going to change some laws so guns wouldn't be in the hands of certain people in the population.
And then they infiltrated them, assassinated the leaders to break down that power structure, and I hate to use the word control, but safety. The people had someone there that was legally doing what was right, but it just didn't work for the powers that be.
Yeah.
So you change laws so that people can always need you. The problem with this system is you've got to need it. When you don't need the system, it bothers them.
Yeah. And the other thing is so scary about it is that it's all in the name of protect your country. And that can be dangerous because people can get their own mindset of what I need to do to protect our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we're under attack by these other people coming in.
Yeah, just judging from, a cursory observance, it seems like ICE has gone from enforcing the immigration and custom laws to harassing people who are protesting what they're doing.
Well,
we should be reminded during this time of year where we're celebrating Dr. King, the effectiveness of peaceful protest, nonviolent protest. So people who are out protesting, instead of harassing them, may need to change their tactics to some degree and do some nonviolent protesting.
I was listening to Governor Walz giving almost that same speech. He said, we've got to continue to protest. We've got to make sure that we are videoing everything that's happening around us. But when you're protesting, make sure that it is nonviolent, because the threat of insurrection is what the president really wants. He wants to lose something of insurrection so that now I got the right to bring in any military power I want to control that situation.
We're moments away from him instituting the Insurrection Act
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of the 1700s or 1800s and sending the military
Exactly. And that's
into
what
those
he wants,
areas.
to be able to. And then when you do that, it's a Katie by the door, because there's nothing that we can do now to control any part of America. When you have governors now, it's out of your hands, it's out of the governor's hands. There's nobody who can do anything but this one person who's controlling the entire military. So we have to be aware of how close we are to an insurrection act.
Yeah, and it seems the police departments in these communities were able to enforce the laws, protect the citizens, and do what they had to do before these agents showed up.
Sure, exactly. They were not needed. It was a ploy of revenge to get back at any group of people or any city or state that didn't vote him in.
Yeah.
When you look at it, hey guys, you know what? It's that time. We got to release Harvey Johnson and get him started with us for a little bit, and then we'll come back with some more did you knows and health tips and all the other things that we're going to talk about. I told you this was a fast hour. Bishop, bring on the Reverend Harvey Johnson all the way from Florida. Good morning, Dr. Johnson. How are you, sir?
Good morning, sir, ma'am. I'm happy to be here. Missed last month, a little bit of a mix-up there, but happy to be here. I want to just do a quick review of some of the things we talked about. Some of the things that pertains to winter driving and operating the automobile. Something to watch out for. One valuable item that we should keep in the trunk is a battery jumper and air compressor. Because cold weather brings on dead batteries and low tires, both of which can cost you a lot of money, the tires especially. The dead battery is just inconvenience. But, so again, to recap, what to check if your car won't start. If you turn the key, push the button, you don't hear anything at all. That's a no crank. Now that's important because if you call for help and the tow truck driver, whoever, the dispatcher is asked, well, what's the problem? And you say, my car won't start. And they ask you, well, does it crank? Does it? And you say, well, no, it won't crank. But when they get there, they turn the key and it's cranking. But it won't start. So now they look at you like you told me it wouldn't crank. We're used to using the term, will it crank up? There's a difference.
Okay.
The correct term is, if it's making the starter sound, it's cranking. Once the engine starts up, it started. Okay. Now, if it doesn't make the crank sound, then it's not doing anything. So if it cranks but don't start up, you have a no start. And that should be explained to them so they kind of know what to bring with them.
So,
yes, sir.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, if it's started, that means it's running. If it's cranking, that means it's turning. But if it's clicking, that means I got another problem.
That's right.
Okay.
If it just click, that's a no crank.
No crank. Okay. But turning over is what we call it. It's turning over, but it won't start.
It won't start.
Okay.
It's cranking. Yeah, it's cranking, but it won't start.
Yeah. While we're talking
So
about,
like I said,
I'm sorry, while we're talking about cranking and starting, these little jumper devices that you can get at Harbor Freight or AutoZone, places like that, some maybe at Walmart or off of Amazon, are they reliable and effective?
Yes, sir. Some of them better than others. Harbor Freight, since you mentioned them, I'm not going to say advertising, but they do sell a good one. And there are other brands that are reliable. NOCO is another one that you buy from Walmart. And of course, I wouldn't be cheap with something like that. You know, get the best one you can afford. You know, the higher the amperage, the better.
Let me ask you this.
Battery.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about that. You and I talked about this before. When you have cars like these BMW, Mercedes that are sitting in the yard, that battery is always being used, even though the car's not being cranked. You taught me that, and so it can actually drain the battery over time, even though you may drive it a little bit. But having it hooked up to one of those, what do you call it? It's not really charging the battery, but it's keeping the battery.
It's a battery maintainer.
Battery maintainer. That's it. Okay. Because it's always checking the body. The system is always being checked, even though the vehicle is not being cranked. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, sir. You're doing a great job. Huh? We need to know this because we will make sure our stuff stays cranked as well. Did we lose him?
List here, you know, Mercedes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We hear you now. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, even Genesis. They have multiple computers, onboard computers, from one end of the car to the other. And they're always on. Even when you shut the car off, it's sitting on ready. It's using power. So if you have the weak battery, it could drain that battery overnight. In some cases, it can drain that battery by the time you go in the mall and shop and come back. So it's important for these vehicles, when you purchase a battery, purchase a really good one.
Okay. Okay.
One battery type is AGM, Advanced Glass Mat, I think it's called. It's a very, very good battery. It lasts longer than regular lead acid.
Okay.
Now, with these vehicles having so many computers in it, what I suggest to people, if you park a car for a while, turn off everything that you can physically turn off. Sometimes, you know, for your convenience, you'll have the headlights set on automatic, and they may be set to be on for a while after you shut the car off, give you time to get out of the car and get in the house. But you don't really need it on that long if you're in your garage.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good.
You're off, you know, because you'd be surprised how much power a modern day, I'll just say radio, how much power it pulls. You know, just turning it on, just sitting there. If you happen to get a glitch or electronic glitch, and something turns on while you're sleeping, it's going to drain you. And it happens. Electronics are the worst part of the newer vehicles.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. Turn off everything. Turn off your radio. Turn off your wipers. Don't leave everything on automatic just because you can. You know, heated seats. I've seen so many vehicles with destroyed leather because the heated seat turned on. Somebody spilled something and didn't say anything. It turned on. It damaged the seat. It drained the battery.
Wow.
So the more options you have, the more careful you have to be.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to cover that with the batteries because it's cold, and batteries, if they're not top notch, the cold will kill them. And I wouldn't play around with that. I mean, especially if your wife or daughter, if they're out there, they don't need to be stranded. You'd like to think that the person coming to help them in the tow truck is trustworthy, but let's be honest with you, that's in many cases that's the only job they can get.
Yeah.
So they may even be. You understand what I'm saying?
We do.
They may not be trustworthy,
Yeah.
and they're in a perfect position to be a predator.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want you to.
Yeah.
So, the battery, how important it is to, in my vehicles, that battery gets 3 years old. Even if it hasn't given me any trouble, I know it has maybe another year. I don't try to run it down to the very end. So, because I don't like the no crank, no start situation.
Wow.
Okay. And the other thing was the tires. When the temperature dips, the tire pressures are going to lower. Okay, it may not look like they're too low, but a tire could be partially inflated. It could have as little as 15 pounds of pressure. And still you're rolling. And it feels good because you don't have the tight tire that's feeling all the bumps. But it's destroying the sidewall.
Gotcha.
So that tire may have lasted you 5 years, you could effectively cut that down to 2 years.
Wow.
It'll wear the outside of the tread, and it'll also destroy the sidewalls, and you'll have to buy another set of tires way too soon. As I shared with you before. Go ahead.
I was thinking about that part as well. You were talking about the electronics and the computers. Sometimes we can depend so much on those to say, well, it'll let me know that my tire's low, when we need to also sometimes look at those tires, especially when we know the weather's shifting and changing or something of that magnitude. Yeah, we might get a glitch on those computers, but putting eyes on those tires or opening up that hood and knowing where to check that oil, it may be a saving feature for us.
That's right. Yeah, don't depend on the electronics because they will put you down.
Yeah.
Electronics will let you down.
Yeah, we heard about that. I had some friends. No disrespect. Verizon was down for about 20 hours just the other day, and nobody could talk to each other. It will let you down, no doubt. Well, listen, I know you got more information we can handle, but we have definitely got to move fast today, and I appreciate that information because I know I lost a battery the one cold snap we had earlier, and it just kind of turned over and did pretty good, and then all of a sudden I got home, it wouldn't say nothing else after I got home. I said, okay,
right,
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Well, we can finish on that later, next time.
Okay. Well, we'll still be in the winter, so please hold on with those points, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And enjoy that sunshine down there in Florida while we are.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going to get up to about 38 or something today. Yeah.
Somebody left their back door open, so it's cold down here today. But
Well, okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. We'll get with you next time, okay?
All right, sir.
All right. That was Dr. Harvey Johnson from Melbourne, Florida, sharing with us a car talk. We always love having him on the third Friday of the month and to give us some points and tips. And if you have not paid attention to it, please do. Listen, I got a comment on this as we're talking about ICE, and someone was saying that 47 of the ICE agents were the insurrectionists during the January 6th. People who were pardoned, they are ICE agents as well. 47 of them are the same people.
What kind of background check are they doing? Or what kind of?
Actually, one of them was an FBI agent too, who was one of those who stormed the White House, and the things that he was saying. I was blown away with some of these people who were holding offices in our own country, who's supposed to be watching out for all of us, now are pulling for one side or the other, and got guns, getting paid out of prison, getting paid big bucks,
money,
big bucks, yeah.
And most prisoners get out, and you can't get a job nowhere.
Can't get a job anywhere. Can we do a did you know and a health tip, guys?
Yes, we can.
Go ahead, Captain. Get us started on did you know.
a horse has more than 1 horsepower. You know, when we talk about cars, we talk about
horsepower by horse. Okay, I didn't know
well,
that. Okay.
A horse can, at maximum power, can generate 18,000 watts, which is around 24 horsepower. That's 1 horse.
Okay, so we got to change that horsepower routine. Times 24 if you got a good horse.
If you got a good horse.
Okay.
God knew what he was doing.
I love it. I love it. What you got, Doc?
That whale, the largest animal, has a heart that weighs 400 pounds, approximately the size of a small piano.
Good gracious.
I have seen some of the at a distance, but not anything up close of a whale. I mean, not even a whale. Come to think of it, just some sharks and some things like that. And you don't really understand how big they are until you start to see them come out of water, and you say, "You got to be kidding me!"
Yeah,
this is unbelievable. But I got one for you. For the cat lovers, you may be scratching your cat the wrong way. So if you're rubbing the belly of a cat or the base of his tail, cats just put up with that stuff. They don't really like it.
They don't like it.
They want you to rub them under their chin, their cheek, and around their ears. So if you got a cat, rub under their chin, around their cheek. The same place you want your wife to rub. No, we gotta go. Okay, we got a caller. Okay, we got there. TL. DL. Okay, DL, good morning.
Good morning to you three.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Gentlemen.
Okay, did you say distinguished or extinguished? What did you?
Distinguished. Okay. Hey, I know you know your old saying. You still doing good for your make and model.
Yes, sir. And mileage. I had to add the mileage now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah. So, Dr. Godbolt, you talked about the training of these ICE officers. They're not trained, and you brought up something that I forgot to think about. We don't know who they're hiring. Not just ICE, any of these federal agencies, because they're not being transparent. Now, I have a buddy who works for ICE. He works for ICE at the airport, so he's not on, he stays in his home city, and he's soon to retire. He says training for any federal law enforcement, whether it be ATF or the corrections, is anywhere from 4 to 6 months. Some of these guys are only doing 47 days. You want to know why? Because Trump's the 47th president. They're not trained.
My Lord.
They're not. You can't hit somebody and not do a report. If you have to go hands-on with somebody and aggressive and take them to the ground, should be a criminal charge that accompanies that. They're not doing that. It's just like, I'm the big bad bully. I don't have to document anything. And I tell you this, once we get a new president in and they start doing the hearings, the price tags on the use of force, the United States are going to have to pay a lot of money out to its citizens. So here's what I would suggest to anybody dealing with ICE, because a lot of the big law firms don't want to take the cases because Trump has retaliated against big law firms who challenge him on the United States rulings by removing their security clearances. So get you some good surveillance equipment. Those things the bikers put on their helmets. Wear your body camera if you have to encounter ICE. Don't go looking for them, but you better preserve your own evidence, because the price tag for the hotels, the food, the lodging, and the equipment, the vehicles that they lease, it's going to be, well, we're headed to a recession in probably 6 years. It's another way around it. But they're not trained. They're not trained, and that's the dangerous part about this is they're not trained and they don't care.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, DL. And that's the point that we want to make sure we understand, that number 47 is going to exonerate. He's going to, every one of them, before he gets out of office, and he's going to pardon them, and he's going to pardon himself. And they're going to try their best to make sure none of these agents have to serve any time or have to have to deal with any kind of repercussion for what they did. It's uncontroverable. It's unbelievable that this could be happening right among us.
Yeah.
But we got so many other things. Thank you, DL, for sharing that with us. And I know the training. He and I work together. I'll say that with you at 71st. And I understand how serious the training that our local law enforcement received. And anytime something would come up that was that maybe happened off with one person, one police officer, they would go back and look at, okay, we need to more training in this area. And they will work on that to make sure that the public was safe. This is not happening with these agents. There's no way in the world they care. That's why that guy could shoot someone in the head 3 times and then say something negative about her life, about her. And because there's no heart, there's no caring, there's no issue, no part about that person's life that they care about. Anyway, let's move on. We didn't get a health tip. Ooh, we forgot the health tip.
Health tip.
Let's do that. We all over the place today and got 2 more topics.
Okay. Digital detox.
Okay.
Take a break from social. We talk about this all the time. Take a break from social media and the news to reduce overstimulation, particularly when you get ready to go to sleep. At least a half hour before retiring for the evening, you should shut off all electronic devices.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I have take a daily do not disturb break, whether at your desk or in your kitchen or on the deck. Close your eyes and do not open them for anyone. Even 5 minutes will feel wonderful.
You know something? And mine is use regular physical activity. Significant. It is significant to reduce dementia risk. It's been proven that you can lower your risk for dementia 40 to 50%, and improve your brain health, reducing inflammation, and combating cardiovascular risk, cognitive decline by moving, exercising, brisk walking, cycling, swimming, any of those activities causing the brain. And what's happening, we're going to talk more about this on Wednesday with Dr. Tim Newsom about what happens to the brain and the blood flow to the brain when we're exercising, dealing with puzzles and some of the other things in life that would help reduce the risk of dementia. All right? Timing matters. So even though you may be in your late 60s, it still appears that there's a great help to remove the plaque buildup and inflammation around those areas, heart and brain. Okay, I'm preaching, but let me stop.
Oh, that's
okay.
good. That's good stuff.
Exercise, brain boost. You need that. Okay. Now let's look at this right quick from Hilton Head. I thought this was important. The Gullah Geechee land issue. Hilton Head Resorts in South Carolina. It kind of exists. It came about by, I won't say a mistake, but somebody, a black landowner, deciding to sell that first piece of property to a white developer. And what they did was, from that point, they began to develop these buildings, hotels, and the people next to them with their houses and shacks and whatever they had could not afford to pay the taxes. And so by not paying the taxes, developers begin to buy more and more properties. And then what happens is, therefore, you have the Hilton Head Resorts. Hilton Head was all owned by blacks, people who spoke Gullah and Geechee. And of course, the whites during that time did not want the land because it was not farmable, if you will. They went inland to create their farms as they did back in the 1816, 17, 1800, whatever it was. But now they start getting money, things are going well. They want to get their vacations and times away from the work area, so they look at these beaches.
Isn't it amazing how things turn around? These people were expatriated to these areas in South Carolina and some in Georgia.
Correct.
During the Reconstruction, because they didn't want to go back to the plantations, and so we said, well, here's this swampland we can give them to live. And now that swampland has become, as you say, value because being innovative people, they found a way to cultivate the land,
Drain the swamp,
grow crops, rice and other crops being one. And now the land is valuable because of its location on the coast.
Yeah.
Again, the laws have been changed so they can take land from the people. The SPLC is fighting. Southern Law Poverty Center is fighting for the rights of the Gullah Geechee people to keep their properties against this swelling desire for the Hilton Head Developers Corporation to take the land. Now, the reason we're bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, is that you may be near an area yourself right now that may not seem important to other folk. You know, you got a little pond on your land, a little river running through there. They might decide that in Cumberland County or where you might be, that this could happen to us. What I found was interesting was there's a church called the St. Jane Baptist Church. It has a 139-year history. They had to relocate. This is a church that's been there 139 years. They had to relocate because the airport terminal and runways wants that area. Now, they've been there dealing with planes flying over them for however long they've been there. Planes were in the air. Now they had to give up their land. Now, there's a gas station and a convenience store on the opposite side of the street for the airport. They don't have to relocate. They can leave that there. Again, all of these things are happening again so that the monies that's needed so people can have fun time and vacation. It doesn't matter that this is all you own.
And this is so reminded of when you say history repeat itself.
Yeah.
Of the Cherokee Indians living by the water, fishing, getting everything in the water, and then the Americans come in and say, "We're gonna send y'all out to Oklahoma so you can be safe and you be protected in the Trail of Tears." And they said in that trail, not a family did not lose a loved one on that way to that desert land that they put them on.
Yeah, and a lot of these people are losing their land. Once these developers come in, these large hotel conglomerations, as you say, airports and things like that, the tax value of the land goes significantly higher.
Oh, yeah.
And so the people who are there with family homes and land can't afford to
it.
pay the taxes.
Right.
Exactly.
And so they confiscate the land.
And back to your point about the Trail of Tears, if you remember, it was a government that gave them blankets that had smallpox in the blankets.
That's right.
So when they were going out, that's why no family were able to walk through or come through that area and reach Oklahoma without dying, because it was a government that set them up to die in that process.
Yeah, as these people, as you stated, as these people lose this land, they're not only losing the physical portion of the land, they're losing a culture that's been in place for now hundreds of years, because they learned to survive by, as Dr. Ron was saying, developing the land.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know about that. I've been down there, and I'm trying to think of the name of the island. I can't believe I can't call it out. But you got Hilton Head, and then we got the one that Dr. King did his. We've been there too. Anyway, it'll come back to me in a moment, hopefully, that we have to be aware of how they decided not to sell any land, not a piece of their land, to any developer, so that they could hold on to their land and keep it undeveloped. What is Hilton Head? Oh, God, I wish I could remember
Is
the
it
name of it.
Sapelo Island?
No, that may be, but it's another one, and I know very well, been there. We did some workshops on that island. I wish somebody could tell me what it was right quick, but anyway. Let's go ahead and do the next part. It'll probably come to me in the middle of our final piece that we're talking about, so we can make sure that we tell people about taxes and get prepared for their taxes.
But as you're saying, as a race of people, we need to acquire land and hold on to land.
Hold on to it. There's no more land being made.
That's right.
Not until after we'll deal with that. It's a biblical principle, but 7 times growth. But we'll deal with that later. But let's look at some of the tips for tax preparation. Because we got a couple of minutes before MP 1, 2, and 3 comes into the building. Okay. What you got that's...
Wow. Well, if you just started, you may be behind a little bit. And it's good advice never to go into court and be your own lawyer. We're getting to the point now where it may not be a good idea for you to prepare your own taxes. You need to get someone who is astute and an expert in that area, like an accountant or some reliable tax preparation company.
I agree 100%. As a matter of fact, I talked to my tax preparer who worked for the Internal Revenue Service some years ago, and she was telling me, she said, I got to tell everybody, make sure you tell them that they need to get a legitimate tax preparer, because this administration has changed laws and flipped. They're doing things out of the cuff, just shooting in the dark, we called it. And then they're finding out later what they did needed some kind of legal law passed to do it, then they back off of it. Because what's happening, daycares are struggling now with these swift law changes, because what used to be money they can get from one place, and now it's being taxed, they're not sure. So she's also told me that one of the things you have to be aware of, you might get better deduction from a standard deduction than tithes and offerings, because you get it's better for us. So by this changing that's going on through this administration, without vetting the process, they'll do it, then they have to walk it back after they find out those laws or what they're trying to do was prohibited. So be aware of those things.
Yeah,
okay?
As you say, so many things have changed, and not only as individuals, but churches and other nonprofit organizations really need as you say, a tax preparer, someone who knows the law and knows what they're doing because of the changes that have been made.
Yeah. And be very careful working with these people that try to let you get some money up front and then file your taxes. You're gonna pay, and you're gonna pay double for that kind of carrying on. So you need to, basically
absolutely
do it through the correct sources, and let them do a direct deposit that saves time.
Yeah, the interest that they're going to charge you is probably around 30 to 35% of what you would get.
Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get out here. You hear the music. We got to go. And it's been good being here with you today. Look forward to being with you next week. Make sure that you do all you can to celebrate Dr. King's birthday. And if indeed you have not registered to vote, we need every living soul that got breath in their bodies old enough to vote. Get out there and get it done. We're not playing, because if you're living safe, you're living too small. Remember, the only thing that evil needs to triumph is for good men to do nothing. Bye-bye.